So it is Sunday morning. Well, late morning. It's about 11:15. I've done all my chores. Mucked out the chicken coop this morning, cleaned up the backyard, got rid of a bunch of boxes we had in the garage. Took the trash, just normal weekend stuff. I still have yet to do the dishes, which I really need to. And sweep and mop the floors, but that's going to be after I get this done. So I spent yesterday afternoon, evening, cutting the little nibs off of all these pieces. I don't know if you can see that. So because they were attached together, they had like this little bump right there. And I took my craft knife, like you can still see it on the side pieces here. See that little bump right there? Maybe it's better if I go over here. Nope, still can't. Oh, there we go. That little bump right there in the middle. I cut all the tabs off on these little guys, which will make up the shelves going all the way around. I didn't on the pieces they're going to make up the sides and the top this way, because it doesn't really affect the way that they fit. I'm not going to take them off. They're not very big. I did cut a little bit off, but I actually sanded these flat. So my next step, and I'm not going to be able to film it because I have to take it outside, and I'm not taking my camera mount outside. I have to spray paint all of these, and I did get, where's my spray paint? I think it's on the other side of my desk. Let's see. No, I left it downstairs. I did get some spray paint. It's supposed to look like aged pewter, which I thought would be really, really cool looking against the papers that I'm going to use for this one. So the spray paint is downstairs. I'm going to go get one of the boxes that I broke down earlier this morning, take it outside, and spray paint these individual pieces. I was going to put it together, glue it together, and then spray paint, but I think it would be easier if I just spray paint each individual piece and let them dry and then put it all together. So that's going to be my next step. And for right now, I'm going to go, like I said, dig a piece of cardboard out of the recycle bin, take it outside, set it up, and start painting. So that's probably going to take, I don't know, about 15-20 minutes for me to get all these little pieces. And then when I'm done with that, well, both sides, so you have to let that dry and then flip it over and do the other side. So this is going to take me, it's probably going to take me the rest of the afternoon to get this painted. In the meantime, after I get this painted, I'm going to finish the rest of my household chores and hopefully be able to put this together. I got some wood glue that's going to help me do that, and we'll go from there. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday and a productive Sunday or a restful Sunday, and you have a wonderful week coming. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, step 2. I'm getting ready to spray paint, and on second thought, I actually covered all of these tabs with painter's tape, as you can tell. Ooh, I missed one. Oh, I missed 2 right there. Look at that. Heh. Got ahead of myself. I'll cover those as soon as I wrap this video. But, so I was doing some research on this material, which is a thin MDF, and it said that when you paint it, the little tabs that you use to put it together can swell, and they might not fit properly into this space right here. So I could either paint them and then sand them or trim them so they would fit, or I figured I would just take the 15-20 minutes it took me to cover all these tabs and do it that way. And then that gives me kind of a handle when I need to flip them over and paint the other side. So let me take care of that guy that I missed 2 tabs on, and I'm going to start spray painting. Okay, first coat is down. This is all the pieces painted, and I hope I have enough of this. Like, this is the stuff that I'm using, this antique pewter Rust-Oleum. It's supposed to look like that, which is pretty cool. I've used it before, not necessarily this one, but I used what did we use? It was galvanized metal on some plastic PVC pipe that we wanted to fake the look of metal legs. And this is the brand we use, and it turned out really well. But I don't know. I hope I'm not going to need another can, because I only got one. And it feels like it's like almost out already. So we'll see. Anyway, this is a second step of the process. Film from this side because the sun is starting to be directly overhead, and you can see it's like really bright right there. And if I shoot from this way, where's my finger? From this way, this looking here, I'm blinded because the sun is peeking over our house. Anyway, this is the second coat has been put down. I barely had enough paint. But I love, I don't know if you can see that, but kind of this like speckled, the way the paint comes out. And that's what gives it that antique pewter kind of look. It's not exactly like it looks on the cap of the bottle, but it's still pretty cool. Or can, I guess, not bottle. So second coat, or second side is painted rather. I had just enough to finish it. It dries pretty fast. But I'm going to leave this. I'm going to go inside and do my chores, and then I'll come check. And hopefully the dogs won't screw this up, and I won't have to be really upset and yell a lot, these dang animals. Anyway, going inside to do the dishes and take care of my household chores. And once this is completely dry, I'll be gluing this together to make the advent calendar. Hey guys. Okay, we're back. This is definitely a multiple part video. The next couple of clips are sped up quite significantly because I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch me glue all of these tabs into this base. So I'm putting it together. The paint that I had done the day before is now dry. So I'm trying to pick the prettier pieces to face the outside so that you can see that when everything is put together. I'm just using a pretty basic Loctite wood glue that I picked up at Walmart. Nothing special. You could probably get that at any home improvement store as well. And I'm flipping them back and forth because I want to make sure that the nicer sides, I guess, are facing outward. Excuse me. And I'm just pointing out here how pleased I am with the Rust-Oleum aged pewter paint that I used. It's not perfect, but it did come out pretty nice. I mean, you know, for the ease of just using a spray paint can, it did come out pretty nice. Some of the spots are a little chunky, but I think that's part of the charm. Yeah, so here I am putting everything together. Again, just glue on the tabs, sticking it down, and hoping I get them in the right place. And the instructions are not very specific, and for somebody like me that's a little bit on the anal side, and I like to have, you know, everything spelled out for me, I guess I was a little critical of, you know, they're really kind of garbage. I mean, once you get the first couple of pieces down, everything else falls into place. You know, you kind of know where things are supposed to go. Excuse me. I'm still fighting these allergies, you guys. I think I'm actually getting legit sick at this point because all the congestion is now moving down into my chest. So I'm just running my finger along the edges to take the excess glue out and wiping it off on a paper towel. Pretty simple stuff. I'm not going to be able to do that when I put the smaller dividers in that go around the edges of the advent calendar, but I'm trying to clean this up as best I can and, you know, make it look nice. So I'm just kind of digging my fingers down inside the inside edges and then just wiping my finger off with a towel. There might be a better way to do that, but I don't know what it is. It's just kind of how I do it. So now I'm putting the inside pieces, or the pieces that go around the outside. They're still inside the project, but that's what I'm doing here. Excuse me. And just putting on some glue. Again, like I said before, I'm not going to be able to kind of wipe where that glue is oozing out a little bit from the edges. So I'm just doing my best. This stuff does, it does say on the bottle that it dries clear, and I'm happy to report. I mean, my piece is dry. All of these pieces are dry now. So I'm happy to report that yes, indeed, it does dry clear. So that's good news. If a little bit oozes out on the out of the sides, you're not going to see it. So this does take a little bit of time just to get all of these pieces glued into place, and I'm kind of going, you know, just kind of obviously talking to myself. I craft alone in my craft area, but just talking about Christmas, and I've always wanted to make an advent calendar. I have had this particular piece in my stash for quite a few years. My intention was to make it for my kids, for my boys when they were still young, and obviously I missed that boat. My kids are not young anymore. But my hope is that once this is finished, I mean, obviously it's going to be displayed in our home. But my hope is that maybe eventually one day my boys, when they, or if they decide to have kids of their own, maybe it could be passed on to them. And I think that would be pretty cool. A note about advent calendars. My aunt, when we were kids, and there were 4 of us at the time, she would always send us advent calendars for Christmas, and they were the kind, I think, from Swiss Colony. I might be wrong about that. Maybe Hickory Farms, is that what they're called? Where it's it's a flat or kind of, it's a cardboard kind of piece, and it's raised up maybe about a ½ inch, and then on the front there are these little punch out kind of perforated windows, and you perforate, or you put your finger in the little finger tab and you open it up, and for every day of the month of December, or at least for the first 24 days of December, there's a little chocolate inside, and you get to go around. It's usually, it was a holiday scene, some kind of a Christmas scene. And as kids, we used to fight. We used to fight over who got to eat the chocolate. But advent calendars, because of my Aunt Alice, have been such a special place in my heart. And I've always wanted to make a permanent one. And I know I'm a little late to the game, but here I am. So what I realized after putting all of the interior tabs, or the shelving, into the advent calendar form, is that I did not glue the corners, and they were kind of gapping a little bit, and I didn't want to take the whole thing apart because I'd already put all the glue in, everything was put together. So what I did was I took a corsage pin that I have in my pincushion up on my desk. I squirted some of the wood glue on the garbage instructions and I just kind of went into the corners very carefully with that glue and kind of just ran it up each corner where those 2 pieces met. And I don't have wood clamps. I mean, you can see the clamp there on the bottom right hand side, but it's not a wood clamp. So what I did to try to keep these pieces together is my makeshift clamp is grab my painter's tape that I have in a dispenser on my desk, put the glue in, and then use that painter's tape to go around both sides, or those 2 sides, to hold it together enough so that when it did dry, it would dry, hopefully joining those 2 pieces together. Sorry, taking a little sip of water because my allergies have been really bad. Like I said, I think it's moving down into my chest and turning into bronchitis, so I'm trying to stay hydrated and not have such a dry throat. And of course, I'm going to be talking for the next, 40 minutes or 30 minutes. So anyway, so I'm just cleaning my pin off. Thumbs up, got it all done, put my pin up. We're moving on to the next step. So not everything is totally dry yet, but I wanted to show that I still had this one piece that was left, and it's a very long strip, and you glue that to the bottom so that when this piece stands up, it's level. And it's a little hard to show on camera because this is a pretty large piece, but I needed to wait. So not everything was totally dry to my liking. And I'm kind of pointing out, like, I'm reading the back of the glue, like, how long does it take to dry? Can I take the pieces of tape off and then put the bottom on? And I didn't really find what I was looking for, so I'm just going to wait. So the back looks so ugly. I have to cover this in some way. So I'm debating. I took a piece of 12 by 12 paper, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just cover the back with this 12 by 12 piece of paper, but I still have this border around all 4 edges. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get some ribbon, not necessarily this one that I'm showing you, but a thicker ribbon, and cover all 4 sides to just kind of hide how ugly that back is. And then I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I could cover it with pieces of paper and put something in center, but my paper is 12 by 12. This piece is 13 by 13, so I'm still going to have some of that outside edge that's showing. So I'm kind of just talking to myself, working it out in my head. How am I going to do this? So I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I get some thick ribbon. I put it on all 4 edges, and then I cut the inside of the paper out, and that'll be my center. So I think I'm going to go with that.
Just kind of, like I said, everything's not totally dry yet, so I'm just kind of talking to myself and trying to figure out where I'm going to go with this project. All right, so.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Hang on, I gotta get down off my chair. I need to get a step stool in here because I can't see, it doesn't matter, I can't see the top of my camera or my phone when I put the mount up higher. So I have to stand on my chair so I can turn it on and off. It's kind of funny. So I just wanted to go through while I'm waiting for the glue to dry. Actually, it's probably already dry, but I'm going to start making these little drawers. And I'm going to probably cover them with paper all the way around all 3 sides, and then have it slightly overlap here so then all of the edges are covered, and then cut another piece and put it here on front. So what I wanted to go through first is the paper line that I'm planning on using. So this is basically, again, they are not in the paper crafting business anymore. Unfortunately, they were one of my most favorite makers. I think I had every single collection that they made, or still have. I've been hoarding this stuff because I love it. I think there was only a couple of lines they came out with that I didn't really absolutely like, but the rest of it I loved. So this is the Blitzen collection. One of the pieces of paper is missing because I had to cut it out to make a letter, but this is the front. It kind of gives you an overview of the pattern papers, and then it has these solid, kind of distressed, grungy papers as well. So it came with 2 sets of tags. Well, it came with 1 set of tags, but I bought 2 because that's how I am. I used this at one point to make a project. I think I used this to make family gifts one year, and I think I also used it to make a layout. I don't really remember, but it did come with a set of tags. And then these letters, which these were separately purchased because I paid $4 for them. You can see the sticker down here at the bottom. They're just letters that you punch out. I punched these out because on the back of my advent calendar, I'm going to spell out the word Christmas. And I think that's going to kind of cover up some of the ugly on the back of that thing. So obviously, like I said, I use these papers for another project. But just real quickly, going through them, it's definitely Christmas themed. I like this one. It reminds me of snowballs. Some snowflakes, some polka dots, a nice candy stripe. This looks like wallpaper to me. The reindeer, this looks like some kind of a flannel. Poinsettia is what this one's called. And then ribbon candy, so this stripe. All of these, and then the solid colors, which you can see they're all like this distressed, and it carries through the color palette of the green and red, the kind of this baby blue, the white, this kind of lime green. But I don't know if I'm going to use these solid pieces as much as the patterned ones, but we'll see. Oh, I got 2 of those. Whenever I used to buy paper, and I still do, if I buy paper, like loose sheets of paper, I always get 2. Always, always, always. Always been that way. I think because if I'm making either a scrapbook page or a card or a mini album, whatever I'm making, I want to make sure I have enough paper. So I always buy 2 sheets, and I still do that. I still do that to this day. So this is the collection that I'm going to be using. Like I said, I hoard Basic Grey because they don't make it anymore. But this, because I'm making this advent calendar to live here in our house, I'm okay with using this because at Christmas time I get to see it out displayed on a shelf instead of stuck in my my bins collecting dust. So super excited to use this. I figured out I have 24, and I know in previous videos I said 25, but there's 24 days on an advent calendar, obviously Christmas, you know, leading up to Christmas, like a countdown. So I figured that I have 10 sheets of pattern paper that I can use, because some of these I used on my other project, and I don't, like this one I don't have, this one I don't have. So considering what I do have left, I can make 10 boxes, or I'm sorry, 2 boxes of each pattern that I have, and then only have to repeat 4 more, four of any one of these patterns. So because I've got scraps I'm not quite sure. I might only be able to get 2 boxes out of this one. Or I'm sorry, 2? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I want all of the patterns represented. So we'll see. We will see which ones I get. Pretty sure I can get at least 2 out of these guys, but maybe more. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to go over the line that I have chosen, and we're going to move forward with this one. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, so this part is significantly sped up. So after I started trying to put these together, I realized I would still have a raw edge on the inside and also on the very bottom, which at first I thought, you know what, it's okay. I'm just going to leave them raw and just cover the outside, all 4 sides. But then I started looking at it and I didn't like it. So this is the paint that I'm using. Obviously, I've had it a while. I don't think that's even Delta's. I don't think that's even their logo anymore. So the old one I'm going to use first. I'm going to use my sponge brush there. What I'm going to do is I have painted all the inside of every single one of these, so I don't have to cover it with paper. I've seen a lot of people cover it with paper, but I'm like, I'm not about that life. I'm not going to sit here and cut out all of these papers just to fit on the inside. So all of the inside of these boxes have been painted, and I'm just going to cover them with paper on the outside. So that's kind of what I'm showing you here. And my thought is just to cover, so I used a piece of copy paper. This is very sped up. I used a piece of copy paper, so I'm going to wrap it all the way around so that it kind of overlaps the front where that little tab hole is. And then I'm going to cut a separate piece of paper and cover up just the front of each one of these boxes. And that's kind of my plan of attack and where I'm going to go. And I'm just kind of going over that ad nauseum as usual.
Hey guys, let me get back off my chair here. That's kind of dangerous because my chair has wheels. I really need to get a step stool. So, I just kind of wanted to show you guys my progress. I have made these 3 little boxes so far. And I kind of wanted to show you, because, you know, with each one you get a little better, a little smarter about what you're doing. So I want to show you guys kind of, and my box is dry. I haven't taken the tape off because whatever, it's fine. It's just hanging out. So here's what I've come up with to kind of make this process the fastest for me. I went ahead and I'm sorry guys, woo, kicking my butt, these allergies. I honestly feel like I'm sick. I even took an allergy pill and they're still just, oh gosh, so bad today. So what I ended up doing, I painted the inside of all my little boxes. But then when I figured out my dimensions of the paper that I'm using, and then I wrapped it, I didn't think about the bottom. So this bottom part, I kind of messed with the idea of maybe just, I'll cut a piece of paper and then I'll adhere it to the bottom. But then my thought was the edges are going to start to fray unless I decoupage it, which I don't want to do. The edges are going to start to fray. They're going to start to wear because these are going to be pushed in and out, be pulled in and out of these little shelves. And I thought just the wear and tear, the better idea would be to just paint it this silver color, and as they get used, it'll kind of naturally gain its own patina, I guess, because the paper that I'm using is kind of an aged, or not aged, but kind of distressed looking paper. So I ended up flipping all of these upside down and painting just this bottom part, which I had thankfully had enough paint. I still have a tiny bit of this left, and what I'm going to use that for is as I put these together, you can see there's still some raw edges. I don't know if I'm going to go through and paint those edges because I think these are super cute and perfect the way they are, so I might just leave it like that. Anyway, so here's what I've come up with as far as process. So I've already done quite a few of these. Oh, these guys over here, I gotta include these. But the reason I'm doing so many of them, or I did so many of them at a time, and I have more over here, but I'm using my Xyron 510. I'm running them through here and then pull, you know, it applies adhesive to the bottom and it comes out in a sheet, and then I just peel them off and stick them, which is working super great. But I don't want to waste my adhesive. So what I did was I started making a bunch of them, and as I'm making them, trying to keep them so I could put 3 across, 3 of these 1.5 by 6 inch strips, and in my machine, so that takes up this whole, you know, side to side. And then these little squares, doing the same thing by running, I think I can get 4 in here and run those through, so I'm not wasting my adhesive. So I already scored and finished these pieces, but they're kind of light colored, and I wanted to show you on a darker piece what I'm doing. So I cut 4 pieces of paper. This will cover 2 drawers. So this is 1.5 high by 6 inches wide. And that is a perfect 12 by 12 piece of paper cut in half. It works out perfectly. So 1.5 by 6 inches on both of these. And then these little squares are 1.5 by 1.5. And those are for the fronts here, this little front. So what I also have is this circle punch, which fits perfectly that notch. So what I've been doing, and I'll show you here in a second, is once I get these wrapped around and I put this front piece on, then I flip it upside down, which actually I think I just might do it this way. I trace this circle out and then I use my punch to punch that piece out. And it's working really, really well. But I've been doing it where I put the wrap, we'll call this the wrap, outside of my cube, and then I put this on, I flip it over. So I actually might do it before I get everything put together. So let's do that now. And I'm just gonna look and see how these are going to wrap, which are gonna wrap on the diagonal. This piece is not quite square, so I think I might have to trim this up a little bit. It should be 1.5 by 1.5, but I don't know if you can see that. That edge is kind of wonky. I don't like that. Let's just trim that up real quick. 1.5. It's just kind of sticking out just a tiny little bit. Okay, I think that's better. I know it's just a tiny sliver, but it's enough sticking off the side that I don't want to have to fuss with trying to trim that off later. So let's go ahead and we're gonna make 2 of these. So I'm just lining this paper up with my front, and then I'm just gonna trace, where's my pencil, this little circle. So that goes with that one, and I'll do the same thing with this. See, that one's off too. You know, I'm just gonna use my scissors. Off on the other side. I use my big trimmer to cut these squares. I think I'm not gonna do that moving forward because they're not, I think because the pieces are too small, they're not coming out square. So I'm just going to draw this little guy. And this seems like a lot of work, but I promise you, this saves me so much time by cutting out that little notch. Otherwise, I have to adhere the paper. Once I get it constructed, I have to adhere the paper here, flip it upside, or after it's all put together, and then I have to cut with, well, those are too big, but I have to cut with my little mini scissors, that little notch, and it's a huge pain in the ass. Just trust me. So we will go over the process here in a second. So we've got those guys punched. I'm gonna throw those away. And this is gonna make our 2 candy cane boxes. Actually, I'm going to put those aside. I'm going to do 2 more just these tabs so that we can put all of these through the Xyron at the same time. Let's see, where's my other snow? There it is. All right. Yeah, these are totally not square. That's upsetting. Okay. A little better, but not much. Let me cut another one of these because I think I cut too much off of that one. This one I just need a smidge off the side. Sorry, I'm very anal. I like things to be right. Ooh, I think I messed that one up too. Perfect. And this, at first it seemed like a lot of work. Like, I'm like, guys, this is gonna take me forever. But once I figured out a process, it actually went pretty fast. So that goes with that one. Let me cut another one of these little, I have my little scraps here in front of me. Where's that little snowball one? Here it is. All right, let me get my little trimmer. So I should be at 1.5, which I am, and 1.5. I'm gonna cut just a smidge off of this one because I think it needs it. Okay. Yeah, that one still needs a little bit off. So these, here's the thing that's a little frustrating about these little boxes is they're not all the same. So even though I'm cutting all of these pieces the same, or trying to, I'm finding I have to kind of roll with it with some of them because they're not, these little squares aren't square. They're kind of weirdly shaped. Because this bottom is more of a rectangle, that's more of a rectangle, that's more of a rectangle, and then these are like tall squares. It's a little strange, but I think I figured it out where I can adjust as needed, as you just saw. I just cut these on the fly. So that will go on the front. We're gonna put that aside. What I wanna show you, because I've already scored these pieces that go with these, or I'm sorry, where are they? Oh, I picked up the wrong ones. I sure as hell did. That's okay, that's okay. We'll roll with it. We're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna get our snow. Oh no, I did. Okay, here they are, I'm sorry. I already scored these. So what I wanna show you on, so for my candy canes, on my candy cane, or my candy stripe, I've marked a couple of scoring lines on my scoreboard. This is a 6-inch long strip, like I said before, and I need to score here, 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 and here, where those black marks are. I have not worked out what those measurements are, but I want to show you the reason why I'm scoring all of these. So I'm just going to score 1, 2, 3, and I probably do this different than everybody else. I go backwards. 4, just one piece. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, that last piece. And we got our 2 little notch pieces here. And you'll see why here in a second. We'll put this off to the side. And we're going to bust out our Xyron here. Okay, so the way that I've been doing this, oops, wrong. You have to do the side you want the sticky on needs to face down. So I've been putting in 3 at a time because it covers this, I hope you can see that, covers this width really well. And then I just roll and then do 3 more. So I'm trying to like give it enough room so it'll grab and not overlap the other ones. I did overshoot. That's okay. We can use a little liquid glue. It'll be all right. And then I'm going to do these two. So 1 and 2. And then I'm going to take my little squares here. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I didn't do the notches for these. I did notches for the candy stripe. That's okay. I'm not going to make you guys sit through me doing the notches on these little. One, 2, 3. So I'm trying to, or the snow ones. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I did that wrong. I meant to put those in there. That's all right. That's all right. Things happen sometimes. We're not wasting that much of the adhesive. So you can see this is what I was trying to avoid, is these big spaces in my adhesive when I'm running this through my Xyron and cutting it. I don't want to waste. That's a waste. That's a waste. That's now trash. But you know, that's okay. We're going to run with it. So I'm going to show you just how to do. So if you've never used a Xyron, it's basically it's a sticker maker. It puts the adhesive on the back, and then when you peel this away, it leaves you with these stickers that you just peel off of this backing. And I'm just going to, where's my blade? I'm just going to cut these. Oops, make it a little more manageable. So let's do a candy cane stripe. I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to peel this off. So as you can see, that is side to side coverage of adhesive. How I am putting these together is I'm holding the box. It's very sticky, see? Very sticky, which is why I like the Xyron for this purpose. I don't use it all the time, but this is a really good application of the Xyron. I'm going to stick it down here, and then where I made those score marks, I'm just going to fold it around the edges of this little box. And it gets stuck down. This was the easiest, less hassle way I could think of to put these boxes together that wouldn't take me a million years. So then I just kind of push down, and there's our little box that is stuck together. Da, 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 da. And then I want to, let's see which one, I think it's this one, peel off these little squares that I put that little notch in and attach it to the front. I want to get it lined up with that little notch. There. And there's our little box. See? And then that's why, now you can see why I painted the bottom silver and the inside silver, because I really don't want to fuss. I don't want to fuss with these as far as making paper on the inside. You know what? I think I picked up the wrong one. So I'm going to carefully peel that up and pick this one, because I think this is the one that goes to that opening. Like I said, the measurements are not, I mean, they're exact measurements because these are obviously cut in using a machine, but because the boxes all go together, there's a little bit of play because there's 4 sides coming together, and I think that's what that is what is affecting when I'm putting these together, kind of how everything is panning out. So there's a box there. let's go ahead and do the other one. Let's see, over here. And that's where I goofed. When they overlap, that means that there's no sticky on the bottoms of these. So I'm gonna have to use a little wet glue to put those together. So again, I've got my piece here. And I already scored this and folded it so that it would be, ooh, that one's trying to rip on me, so that it would be easier to adhere. So I'm just gonna put that on that edge and then fold over to that edge, and again all the way around I'm doing the same thing. This one's a little off. You see my fold is there. Like I said, these boxes are, the fold makes it easier, or the score to fold makes it easier. You're just gonna have to trust me. They're not always gonna be square, but once you put that little facing sheet or that finishing little sheet with the notch, you're not gonna be able to tell. So again, you'll see that one's like, you know what? I think because I started too far over. I can't take it off because now that the cardboard is peeling, and I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to cut on the inside. You probably can't see that, but that inside is overlapped just the tiniest bit, and that's going to bother me for the rest of my days if I don't get rid of it. And then this is like, it's too tall, so it's coming over a little bit. Okay, now we're going to line up the notch. And there we go. There's our second box. And I'm just kind of pressing on the inside to make sure that that adhesive is stuck all the way down to that chipboard, and the paper is, I press on both sides. So there we go. There's our other little box. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to make. I have all of these. I've already pre-cut all of the pattern paper for my boxes. These I have not scored, and obviously I have not cut notches out. I didn't cut notches out of those either because I was getting ahead of myself. But I wanted to show you guys kind of the basic construction, and this is what they're going to look like. I mean, it's already starting to look pretty cool. And they just pull in and out just like that, which I love. It's super cute. So I'm going to continue to make my little boxes, figure out how I want to decorate the front. Obviously they need to be numbered. I want to put some bling on here for sure, but I haven't gotten that far yet. And then the back, oh, that is sticking to my hand. And then the back, like I showed you guys before, is so ugly. Like, I've got some ideas on how to finish this, because there's no way it's going to stay that way. I don't like that at all. Oh, look, my little boxes have decided to escape. But I'm going to keep on trucking and come back to you guys when I've gotten all of these done. Talk to you later. Bye.